Now, Proudly South Africa has launched a dedicated online portal for cloth masks, which connects corporate buyers with local producers. It's after government made it mandatory for South Africans to use them in public when leaving their homes. The organization says this will help South Africans source locally made fabric face masks and enable the clothing and textile industry to retain their jobs. Let's discuss this further. We're joined by Proudly SA CEO Eustaace Mashimbye. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Firstly, just give us a sense of how this project is going to be rolled out.
Okay, good evening, Kathy, and good evening to your listeners. So what we've done is we have set up a portal, which is basically an online marketplace where anyone who's looking to buy fabric cloth masks can go onto the platform and can easily find those products that they're looking for. And it's built on the back of the fact that you have a lot of factories, especially clothing and textile factories, who had to temporarily lay off workers, ask workers to stay at home as a result of the lockdown regulations. And in order to start getting those factories to work again, what we have done is we have created this portal so that they repurpose their factories, they reconfigure their machines such that they can make these masks that are much needed. And as the president said, all of us are going to have to wear a mask when we go out into the public, when you're in public transport. So there is going to be a definite need. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we ring fence that market for local manufacturers.
Of course, many of the affected entrepreneurs will want to know how exactly they can get onto the site, onto the portal. So
because this is targeted not only at factories, but also at fashion designers and SMMEs who are in a space to can create these cloth masks, what we have done is we've created an email address linked to our usual Proudly SA email address. So if you write to info@proudlysa.co.za, you will get a response on the process to be followed. We'll then send you a link that you can use to register your company to be on the portal, or write to bongani@proudlysa.co.za. So those two email addresses will result in someone responding to you with a link. Any member of the public, especially the corporate buyers, because that is the primary target. We're targeting companies that are going to go back to work. Earlier in your bulletin, you spoke about the fact that the minister is looking at ways in which we can open up the economy, and they're calling for comments. So those companies that will be asked to come back to work, that will be allowed to go back to work, will have to get masks for their employees. So we're calling on all those companies to buy these masks from this SMME. So if you go to proudlysa.co.za, there is a COVID-19 page, and that is where we've listed all those suppliers that have already registered on the portal.
I wonder, is this program just limited to the textiles industry? Because it sounds like an initiative that could be well used all round.
So this is the first phase. What we've done is we looked at cloth masks, especially because of the work we do with the Clothing and Textiles Workers Union, as well as the DTI, the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, as they are known now, and manufacturing sector. So all these parties came together and we said, as the first phase, let's look at creating a marketplace for cloth masks, because this is where consumers need to buy this, as well as corporates that are going to open up, like I said. But the next phase might also entail looking at other items where we might need to also create a portal for ease of access for anyone looking for these products. The specific reason why we went into this space is because we are calling on all South Africans who have access to the medical masks or the surgical masks to give those back and liberate those back to frontline healthcare workers, so that these guys are the only defense we have against this virus, so that they are protected at all times when they're keeping all of us safe and healthy.
As far as you know, I mean, would a portal like yours also be used then for some of this transfer or exchange of these masks to take place? And if somebody is in possession of these surgical and KN95 masks, would they perhaps be bought back from them? Should they raise their hand up and say, hey, I do have some stock here?
So Business for South Africa, which is an initiative by all organized business federations and associations and spearheaded by BUSA and the Black Business Council, is working with entities like the Solidarity Fund to ensure that we can secure as many of these as possible. So if anyone wants to give back those masks or to sell them on back to frontline healthcare workers, I ask them to contact Business for South Africa. If you go on the net and you Google Business for South Africa, there are contact details, and you can then speak to anyone who will be in a position to ensure that we get those medical or surgical masks that we need so much for our frontline healthcare workers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on to the program and bringing us up to speed with that particular initiative. And the email address, once again, is info@proudlysa.co.za, and that's one that entrepreneurs can use to get in touch with the organization.